UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Engage.
78 years have passed since the days of the original USS Enterprise. Now a new Galaxy starship has been designed.
Transporter Chief, beam our listeners aboard. Welcome to Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast on the United Federation of Podcast Network. I am Joe Keegan, and I have no idea why I'm laughing at the moment. I've come over with a fit of the giggles. How very, very strange. Yes, joined with me today. What's my job? I need a job. Chief
well,
Laugher.
You're apparently come over with fit of the giggles.
A git of the figgles. Yes, I'm Chief Laugh Officer, no doubt, probably. And joined with me, obviously you heard there was Councillor Amy Nelson and Diplomatic Standard Bearer Kevin Scharf.
Hola!
Hola!
¿Cómo está?
Hello.
Muy bien.
¿Y tú?
Yeah, that's good.
Sí.
Qué bueno.
I carpool to work with a woman who's teaching me Spanish as we drive. So basically, I know the days of the week.
Very good. We will include that in our Spanish segment on Galaxy Class. Amy, what has this week brought you?
This week has brought me... Actually, it's been very wonderful because here in the United States, it is Teacher Appreciation Week. And I do hope that if you could and can and are willing to send a message to one of your teachers and just thank them for teaching you. It's been wonderful. I got a dozen red roses yesterday and some free gifts and some cupcakes, and really the emails from the students have been the most wonderful. So it has been a very blessed and loving week for me.
That's so touching. I don't think we have a Teacher Appreciation Week over here. We should do it, and I like Apple products.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep, my Starbucks card is now replenished for the year.
Nice. Very good. Kevin, what has this week brought you?
Well, a couple of things related to my new hobby and passion of clowning. I am working on my ukulele skills. You can see some videos if you go to my Facebook. And I just bought my very first pair of clown shoes. So I'm very excited about this.
What size are they? Like 27?
Well...
Or UK 27, so it's a Canadian 500?
Probably. I don't know exactly how they're... So they're being made for me by a man in Mexico. And the sizing chart said that I should buy a 12-inch pair. So that's what I'm getting, a 12-inch pair. They're black and white saddle shoes. And I think they're going to be fun, and I cannot wait to get them.
That's very exciting.
Wow, I cannot wait to see them and your whole getup, because your suspenders and now the hat.
Yeah, I should wear the hat because
it
makes my hair look better.
Very good.
How about you, Joe? How are things in the garden?
No.
Don't talk about the garden? Okay.
No, I can, but in terms of the weather, we've had I think the coldest April on record. In 60 years or something. Apparently the jet stream is to the south when it's usually to the north, so it doesn't pull up hot air from like Africa. It's pulling cold air down from the Arctic. So yeah, there's not a night where it hasn't been frosty and like killing baby plants and things. So I'm very angry at the weather. Also, I wasn't here last week. You will have noticed, listeners, if you've listened to last week's episode. It was my dad's 70th birthday, so
nice.
COVID restrictions limited what we're allowed to do. We're allowed to be in the garden and celebrated with some close family and friends. So that was very nice. Happy birthday, Dad, for last week. He doesn't listen, so pointless.
The cake that you made with
no.
all the different layers and types.
It looked lovely, yeah. The photos were very cleverly taken. So, my dad is a big fan of strawberries. So, I made him a pavlova, strawberry pavlova. There was a strawberry mousse gâteau, and there was a strawberry tart. Okay, so on the Friday night, the massive strawberries that I put on top of the strawberry pavlova were too heavy for the very light pavlova, so one side of the pavlova collapsed. I managed to patch it up, and that was going to the back of the cake, not the front of the cake, so it didn't really affect the view. The idea was to have the pavlova on the bottom, the mousse cake in the middle, and the strawberry tart on top, and like a 3-tier kind of wedding cake idea. Mm-hmm. On the road up to my mum and dad's house, the strawberry tart kind of melted in the boot. So there was like creme patisserie and strawberries kind of everywhere inside the cake box. Managed to kind of patch it up and decided that can't go in the top tier. So yeah, because it looks like a strawberry soup now. And then I managed to get the strawberry mousse gâteau layer tiered with the strawberry tart on top, and for it to look reasonably nice. Walked away, and the tier thing collapsed, so the strawberry tart landed on top of the strawberry mousse, and all the topping slid off. And yeah, it tasted very nice, tasted amazing, but it looked abysmal. Yeah.
Wow, I'm so sorry, but you know what? It all gets jumbled up in the stomach anyways.
Yeah,
so
true. So I know. It is what it is. And my dad really appreciated it. It was just very stressful. And so I just drank more wine when I was there.
Yeah.
So that took away the pain and dulled the agony. Anyways, shall we check the communications array to see if we have any comments from our listeners?
Sounds like a plan.
Logs accessed.
Kimberly Lawler, in regards to our What If episode, where we talked about what ifs from the movies, Kimberly Lawler asked, what if Beverly actually had a substantial role in some of the movies? Yeah.
That is a great what if question, Kimberly. I agree. What if we had a good role for Crusher to play?
So, do you know what I'm trying to think of? Because I wasn't in the episode, so I'm trying to think of when she was in the movies. And apart from Insurrection, where she shoots some of those drones down, they're trying to transport them all up to the Sona ships.
Yeah.
And then asking the doctor to create a diversion in First Contact so the Borg don't get into sickbay. Then I really don't know. Then she fell in the sea in Generations.
Nemesis was probably her best role because she had to, figure out Shinzon's whole thing and then figure out that his cloning was defective. And that's why, she played a critical role in Nemesis, I believe. The best one out of the movies.
Yeah, no, that's a very underused character.
Yes.
I wish they had done more. I've not listened to your episode, so I really don't know what you came up with. So that'd be an interesting listen.
Yeah, we had a fun discussion. But Stuart...
McElwain.
Okay. Stuart McElwain
responds...
McElwain. Wayne?
Like Bruce Wayne.
McElwain.
Like Batman, yeah.
Batman.
No, like Bruce Wayne. McElwain.
Yeah, McElwain.
Wayne, yeah.
Okay, all right.
This is a Pia LaRocco incident again, isn't it?
Yes. I know, because I totally feel like I'm saying what you're saying, and you're like, no, it's not right. Okay. Okay. Stuart McElwain replies to Kimberly and says, sadly, I think the format of movies tend to focus on a few characters rather than the cast. Sulu, Uhura, Chekhov, and probably Scotty to an extent have very little to do throughout the 6 TOS films. I think Trek works better on TV than on the big screen. Well, interesting, Stuart, and I agree. It seems like the movies tend to focus more on just 1 or 2 main characters instead of the entire crew that we're used to seeing in the TV series.
Interesting. 2 things about that. I want to know if Stuart McElwain is the same Stuart McElwain on Facebook that I have 4 friends in common with. So that'd be interesting to know. Please let us know. And also, Amy, how are you saying the name of the character in between Sulu and Chekhov?
I have a hard time with it. It's very difficult for me.
Okay, how are you saying it though?
No, I know I'm scared.
No.
Uhura? Uhura?
I think Uhura. Like, instead of a U, it's an U. I think that's the way I say it anyway.
Uhura?
Yeah.
Ooh. But not the U. Okay.
That's your word now.
Okay.
That's
And
Amy's word.
I think
Uhura.
in the movies, like Beverly is the Uhura of the next gen, right? Uhura never appeared anywhere else after classic Star Trek and the classic Trek movies. Neither did Beverly. She's the only one of the next gen characters who never appeared again after the show ended. So if you're going to equate Beverly with anyone, it will be Uhura, in my opinion.
I'm just going to call her Ahara.
Ahara.
Ahara. It's the Scottishest name I've ever said. Ahara. Thank you, Stuart. Please let us know where you're from and how we know you. Thank you. Guys, shall we move on and get to the point of why we're here today?
Yes.
Good.
This is the captain. Senior officers will report to my ready room immediately.
Listeners, we're going to continue our character profile series. Now, to date, we have covered all the main bridge crew from Picard right down to... We've covered Wesley, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to move on and do some kind of supporting characters. And today, we are going to start with Guinan.
Yay! I love Guinan.
I love Guinan too. It's interesting that you say that. Amy, do you also love Guinan, or do you say Guinan?
Guinan.
Guinan. Yeah.
No, I love Guinan, and I'm so looking forward to discussing and saying what I think about her. I was driving 2 days ago knowing that we had to do this, and I have a very interesting take for our topic 4 that is going to be interesting. So I'm excited to hear what you guys have to think about my thoughts on that. So, well, just a little teaser for the listeners.
Okay, let's keep with the theme of our previous character profile episodes, and let's talk about the first thing we think of when we say Guinan. Amy, why don't you go first?
Big hats.
Big hats.
That is the first thing you think of when you say Guinan. Absolutely.
Okay.
Her wardrobe was spectacular. The colors and the robes, just everything made her character stand out. And in part, it was the hats. Interesting
fact about the hats. Well, no, I better not say that because I think I might have stolen it from your notes. Let's not. Oops. Kevin, what do you think about first when I say Guinan?
I think of Guinan as a character of sort of serenity and wisdom. She never gets excited. I don't think we ever see Guinan upset. I mean, she gets emotional, obviously, but she doesn't fly off the handle. She is a very grounded, serene, wise presence on the ship.
Yeah, she's very level with her emotions, not erratic. Yep.
I think you're right about that. I was trying to think of something else that's not hats and not kind of that level-centered, calm voice. I think it might be fair to say because she's a bartender, she's got that quality of kind of a counsellor about her. Now, people tell things to the bartender that they wouldn't tell to anybody else. She does act as a counsellor in a couple of instances. So I think maybe counsellor would be my choice. But obviously, hat is going to be my first choice.
I also think that of
Yeah.
sort of the main characters of Next Generation, she probably has the best sense of humor too. She knows how to tell a joke, how to be lighthearted and have fun as well.
I love that when you said tell a joke, the first thing that came to mind was, you're a droid. I'm a humanoid.
Yeah.
Remember when she's helping Data?
I was also thinking about in Rascals when they all got turned into children and she gave Ro permission to jump on the bed. And they just had a ball being little kids and jumping on the bed, you know?
Because that's what you would do. I think adult Guinan would probably jump on the bed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She seems to be that kind of character that is in it for the experience of doing things. And she's old enough and wise enough to know that that's okay to embrace your inner child and just do what brings you joy.
Mm-hmm.
What traits does Guinan have that you admire? So I think we've already kind of covered it, talked about her as a counsellor, how level-headed and measured and calm and thoughtful and thought-provoking she is. But I think Amy might want to add something else to this discussion.
Yeah, I see her having this amazing ability to reframe or to view from a different perspective any event or scenario. And she's, I think, to your point of being wisdom and so wise and a good listener, like she knows how to take some random life, everyday, normal event and then turn it and make it applicable to the scenario that's being discussed. Like when at season 2, the child, Wesley, is considering should he stay on board the Enterprise or should he go to Starfleet Medical and stay with his mom. And he's looking out at 10 forward and Guinan comes over. Do you need anything? Oh, no, I'm just fine. Do you need anything? Like she keeps asking. He's like, why are you doing that? And like, oh, because that's what's expected of me. And then turns the whole conversation and helps Wesley. I mean, she does this consistently time and time again. Like in Suspicions, Beverly, she goes to see Beverly because of her tennis elbow. And then that sort of converts to, okay, Beverly, you need to continue your investigation into Rhaega's death. Or like fencing with Picard. Like they're just fencing, but then it turns into a discussion about Hugh and Picard understands what he has to do. Like these random things, and she can just turn the conversation to make it so applicable to everyone in that situation, in that scenario. And I love that. I would love to be able to, just take a random topic and make it applicable to someone's situation or need that they have.
That's a really good point you make there. She's kind of sneaky. She's always got an ulterior motive. Like, she probably doesn't want to fence with Picard. She probably doesn't have tennis elbow. But she's going there with... Yeah. She knows what needs to be done because she's kind of got a sixth sense about things. So she comes up with, how do I broach the subject?
I don't know if she has a sixth sense or if she's just one of those people who's innately good at reading people. And so she can get people, she doesn't do it maliciously, but she can get people to do what she wants by making the conversation about that person instead of about herself, right? The fencing, she goes fencing with Picard because she knows that's something Picard likes to do. She goes to see Beverly for her tennis elbow because she knows that Beverly will take care of that and that's her way in, right? So I think
playing laser tag with Worf.
Like showing up Worf with the phaser rifles, she's a better shot than Worf is. So, when she feels she needs to tell somebody something, she finds a way that makes that person feel comfortable before she just... Now, there are exceptions. There are times when she just blurts things out, or she feels it's necessary that she needs to be heard now. But for the most part, she waits to find her in with people, which is a really interesting trait.
Is Guinan on the Enterprise E?
Yes.
Yes.
Have we seen her?
First contact.
Is she...
Oh.
Is she in it? She's
at the
wedding.
She's in Nemesis, but at the wedding, but not on the E.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, it just occurred to me. Kevin, to your point about... Because you kind of disagreed with me also that I was saying that she had a sixth sense and you were saying that she maybe doesn't. She just has that ability with people. How do you think it allows her to deal with Q?
I think it's interesting. They always sort of hinted that Guinan was sort of like one with the galaxy, that she had these sort of abilities, but they never came out and told you that she did. It was just always sort of a So whether she does have some sort of astral sixth sense or not, it just adds to the mystique of the character too, I think. You're right, because there's her interactions with Q. There's also yesterday's Enterprise, where she's the only one who knows that something is wrong with the universe, right? So we just get this sense that she's innately in tune with her surroundings, and whether that's some sort of psychic ability or just innate perception, you know?
Yeah, I like the idea that she's at one with the cosmos, and she can like interact with the veins and muscles of the universe. Yeah. Okay, so let us cover our second topic on an obscure fact about Guinan. Kevin, can you tell us an obscure fact about Guinan?
She was supposed to have a son who was created as a character for an episode of Deep Space Nine. The character of Mazar, and this was the episode where he could affect probability. That's actually the first time we hear the name of the species Elorian, and he was written to be Guinan's son. And there was hope that Whoopi Goldberg could make an appearance on DS9 as Guinan, but it just didn't work. So they nixed the whole him being Guinan's son plotline and just made him another Elorian, which I think is quite interesting.
That is interesting. Amy, what is your obscure fact?
Well, Joe, you were there in 2016 at STLV, and Whoopi Goldberg made her very first Star Trek convention appearance in 2016. Were you not there, Joe?
No.
For the 50th? This was the big 50th.
Oh, yeah, was there? Was that
celebration.
2016?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was Whoopi Goldberg there?
Yes. And I went to her show. She was kind enough. She scheduled the convention and then did her one-woman show at Treasure Island. And I went to that show as well. And Rod Roddenberry was there, and she called him up on stage on Treasure Island, and they had a little chit-chat and stuff. I mean, wonderful. But she gave a lot of tidbits about her time on Star Trek. And one thing that I found was very interesting was that she, when creating the character with Roddenberry, I mean, we all know that she asked to be on Star Trek and then they created this character for her. But she was saying that Guinan was intended to be, you know, obviously very, very old, but an ancestor of some of the main characters. Like she says, quote, "I always assumed that Picard was one of my great, 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 great grandkids." And she also said that the powerful alien Q and Guinan might have dated long ago in the past, which could explain some of the venomous feelings she has towards funny. Q. A bad relationship.
I did not know that. I did not know either of those obscure facts.
It was so wonderful listening to her talk about and recount her time and memories from Star Trek.
I was there in the 50th. Didn't realise it was 2016. I was clearly there in mind, on body, not in mind. You know, one of those kind of things. So, my obscure fact is Guinan, which I've just discovered myself, I did not know this. Guinan was named for Texas Guinan, a famed female saloon owner from Texas during the early 20th century. So who knew that?
Makes sense.
Did you guys know that?
I learned that while doing research for this episode.
Yep, I learned that new as well. So I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to say that, but I wanted to talk more about her appearance at STLV.
The other interesting story I heard was how she wanted to be on the show and she was friends with LeVar Burton, so he kept bringing it up and nobody believed him. Like, why would an Oscar winner want to be on Star Trek? And so it took her actually calling the production company to say, no, this is real. I am Whoopi Goldberg and I want to be on your show. Nobody believed LeVar when he said, oh yeah, Whoopi Goldberg got in touch and she wants to do the show.
That'd be so frustrating. Knowing somebody that famous and nobody believes you.
Right.
That's
Why
crazy.
would she want to be on our show? I mean, it was just beginning. It was season 2.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
child.
so she was a true fan of Star Trek and has, accounted saying she saw Uhura. I did that just for you, Joe. On the television when she was growing up, and there was this black woman on the bridge, wasn't the cleaning lady. Those are her words, and saying there she was, important communications right there on the bridge. And she became a Star Trek fan because of that. She recognized and, again, shows how important representation is.
Absolutely. Interestingly, in the point of representation, and it's kind of almost a weird, embarrassing fact about Scotland. We've just had elections Thursday, and they've been counting the votes up yesterday and today. And the Scottish Parliament has its first female person of colour sitting.
Wow.
Which is like 2021. Surely it should have happened before now, but apparently not. So a bit of a milestone has been reached in the Scottish Parliament. Let's again move on away from our obscure facts and talk about the greatest impact that we think Guinan might have made during all of our appearances. Does anybody know how many episodes she appeared in total?
29.
29.
So that is obviously going to be quite a lot to talk about, how much of an impact.
And 2 movies.
29 episodes, 2 movies, so a lot possibly to discuss about her impact on the crew.
Oh.
I'm going to start, I think. I'm going to go with counselling Picard during the Best of Both Worlds. Mind when the Enterprise is stuck in the nebula and the Borg cube's waiting outside, and Picard, is, I don't know what to do. Well, I don't know how to beat these guys. They are too powerful. Was it Picard or
Riker, because Picard was Locutus.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
And Riker's like...
No, it was... Hold on. I'm getting confused then.
Are you thinking of her?
Okay.
What's the bit where Picard
Are you thinking Measure of a Man?
No,
No, what's the bit where Picard is...
No, not that one. That's mine.
What's the one where Picard is talking about the Visigoths coming over the Seventh Hill and the Emperor of Rome, Honorius, thinking this is the fall of the Roman Empire, and he's talking to Guinan about it.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's stuck, because I didn't know what any of those words meant growing up, and it's always just stuck in my mind. So what are Visigoths? And who's the Emperor Honorius? And where's the Seventh Hill? So yeah, apparently there's an episode, and I quite like it, because Guinan counsels, I think it's Captain Picard, on how to deal with the Borg. And I'm sure it's in the Best of Both Worlds where the Enterprise is hiding out in the nebula and the Borg cube's waiting for them outside. And then the Borg cube starts firing magnetometric guided charges to kind of shake up the Enterprise. Mm-hmm. And then the Enterprise leaves and goes to warp. I'm sure it's that. Come on, guys.
Q Who.
Is that Q Who? Mm-hmm. Okay. You sure?
That's in Q Who. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember now. Yes, because this is the first time, and Picard's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. They're so powerful. Yep, and they flee the nebula. Yeah.
Thank you. So I like her. I think that's one of the first times where we see her counsel Picard. It's like an almost a no-win situation, a Kobayashi Maru event, and she's just there to guide him in the right direction and give him the advice that he needs to do what needs to be done. So there you go. Not Best of Both Worlds as I had thought, but Q Who. Thank you, Amy. Amy, you for giving me the correct answer, you can go next.
Alrighty. So I believe the greatest impact.
Sorry, Amy, can I stop you there?
Yes, please.
Okay, so to quote Jean-Luc Picard, facing the Borg threat of 2366, asked rhetorically, I wonder if the Emperor Honorius, watching the Visigoths coming over the Seventh Hill, could truly realise that the Roman Empire was about to fall. This is just another page in history, isn't it? Will this be the end of our civilization? Turn the page. TNG, the best of both worlds.
Oh,
I was right.
You were
my
right.
instinct. Amy, disappointed.
Oh, dear.
I take that back. Kevin, you go next.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. Amy, you go.
All right. Well, I would say the greatest impact has to be in Iborg, where she is Picard's fencing and she's fencing with him and having this discussion where it's like, oh, well, if you always know what to expect, then you can be on guard for it and you can have a good defense. And then she does something that he doesn't expect and then relates that to, the Borg destroyed my civilization, destroyed the home planet. There's only a few of us left. And yet I went and talked to him and my mind was changed. I did not expect that. You need to talk to this Borg Hugh. And it's there where Picard finally says, okay, separates the Borg between the individual and decides to not infect the entire Borg collective. From that decision, we have the events of First Contact. We have the events of, well, even before that in Descent, Part 1 and 2, where Lore, right, manages to grab all those individualist Borg. But again, that came because of Iborg. And then we get basically Picard. That impacts Picard because we see Hugh and the reclamation project that he's doing with the Borg. Like, that impact, that one conversation that Guinan has with Picard impacts the future, I think, the greatest in that moment.
I may disagree with you and say that Guinan changed the entire universe in the episode Yesterday's Enterprise because she was the only person who knew that things were wrong. And remember, she had that lovely conversation with Tasha, and she's like, you shouldn't be here. And she knew if it wasn't for Guinan, then we wouldn't have had the timeline restored to its proper stream. We wouldn't have had Sela and the whole Romulan intrigue plot. It was Guinan's counsel of Picard. And it was because Picard trusts Guinan so implicitly that they changed the entire universe.
Ooh, that one is good. That one is good.
So it's Guinan's fault that Spock's attempt at reunifying Vulcan and Romulus failed because Sela was involved there.
Well, the Federation may have fallen if she hadn't, though, right? They were on their last legs. Like the Enterprise was one of the last warships in the fleet in the altered timeline. So if she hadn't, I think things could have been a whole lot worse for the Federation.
Okay. The ends justify the means, if that's what you're saying.
I think so.
I think we've all come up with really good impacts. They're all very, very different. Kevin's was universe changing and mine's was just a little kind of point, a conversation, but ultimately affected Captain Picard's decision and kind of told him what to do. So
I'd like to say one more thing, though, too, because I think in addition to these sort of world, universe, or galaxy-changing things, I think maybe her biggest impact is on a personal level. When people are having issues, like dating issues, they talk to Guinan. When people are sad, they talk to Guinan. When people need chocolate sundaes, they talk to Guinan, right? And I think, so in addition to these sort of galaxy and universe sweeping changes that Guinan is part of, she also affects people on a very personal one-to-one level, which in a lot of ways is as important, if not more important, than the world-shattering changes that she can affect.
And so it's interesting. I'm just thinking about the relationship between Guinan as kind of a pseudo-counselor who does it through kind of just instinct, because that's just what she does, and Troy as actual counsellor who's trained in psychology and kind of how your brain works, how they both counsel but do it kind of differently. Like, is that why? I'm trying to speak very carefully without stealing Amy's ideas. Is it easier to go to Guinan because it's less official? Like, if you make it sorry, Amy. Amy, I've not stolen your notes. These are just random thoughts I'm conjuring up. I haven't, honestly. I didn't actually look at your notes. I just looked at the...
He does this every time.
No, I don't.
It just means that you two think exactly alike, and you are more alike than you care to admit.
That's really offensive to me.
As me. Oh, look, we're alike. Continue your thoughts.
No, I was just going to say it's easier to go to Guinan because it's less. You won't have an entry on your medical record that you're having some mental health issue. So you go to your bartender and tell them all your problems, and your bartender gives you some good advice and fixes you up. That's ultimately my point. Amy, do you want to
elaborate,
extrapolate on that? Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my exact thoughts. Talking about moving on to topic 4, which is what I teased at the beginning, was, I was going to take this time to compare and contrast Guinan and Deanna Troi, because I hear all the time, Guinan's a better counselor than Troi. Well, that's just a bunch of malarkey. First of all, Guinan is
baloney.
Not a counselor. Yeah. That too. Guinan is not a counselor, right? She has not been trained for it. Yes, she has many years in wisdom, but I would like to compare that exactly to what you said, Joe, is that Guinan is a great friend. And how many of us go to our friends and tell our problems to? Like, she's a great listener. She knows how, with her wisdom and her years and her experience, she knows how to listen and give advice because she has lived so long and she's just an awesome person. So we do that instinctually. But if something becomes too traumatic or like, we need to go to a professional. And that's the time when, okay, let's go to Counselor Troi. Now, I would say, generally speaking, in a population size, your high functioning ones, all you need is a good friend to talk to. And if we're talking about the Enterprise D, which is the flagship, the best of the best, those people on the ship, generally speaking, they're not going to have these emotional frailties or get stuck. They are used to transition. They're used to change. They're high functioning, productive adults. So a friend is really all they need, and Guinan fits that role. And you're right, going to Counselor Deanna Troi, like, she's going to have to put that in the books and on the record, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but if I just need a good friend to talk to, then I'm not going to make an appointment with Counselor Troi.
No, I
so
get that.
I think that Guinan adds to and enhances those friendships, but doesn't steal Counselor Troi's job.
I think I'm just thinking out loud about the stigma of mental health that still exists. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Was that maybe built in? Was that thought of when they were deciding on what people do with problems? Do they go to Counselor Troi? Do they go to Guinan? Like, if I had an issue, then depends on the issue, I suppose, but I would naturally, like, if there was a problem, I don't want to go to my doctor if it's a mental health issue because of that stigma that's still attached to it. There's nothing wrong with having mental health issues, and I think we should work to remove that stigma. So, but my natural instinct would be go to a friend or a bartender, an informal counsellor, to get the help that I need.
Well, and I think naturally your instinct is to do that first. But if it's not successful, then yeah, you need to go someone who's going to offer you strategies and coping skills and, a different perspective on how to view the world that's going to help you. So I think just that first instinct I think everyone goes to a friend first.
Yeah. And if that doesn't help you escalate it to something more official. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, like you go to, I'm getting a cold, so you go to over the counter. Well, if that doesn't work, then you go see the doctor. Say, this didn't work. I need something stronger.
True. Like over-the-counter cold remedies and stuff, like, don't work. It's like a multi-billion-pound market and literally nothing works. It's essentially like a painkiller, a very, very simple analgesic and a decongestant. Nothing to kill the virus that's causing your cold, but that's just completely besides the point. Kevin, you haven't gone yet? I got distracted.
It's okay. So great favorite relationship. I just get the impression that Guinan is the kind of person who knows the name and probably 3 important facts about every single person on that ship. She is almost the heart of the ship, right? It's because she's in charge of the place where people go to relax. So she's sort of a key figure on the ship. Like if you or I were working on the Enterprise, we probably wouldn't be friends with Riker and Troy and Geordi because they're busy being in charge. But you would have interactions with Guinan all the time. So I think the fact that she is, that in that way, she's sort of the emotional heart of the ship, puts that relation, like, there's not a single relationship that I would put above another. Although, because of her connection with Picard, it's probably the most important, the way that she's the only person who can talk to Picard that way. He would not accept being talked down to from anyone, probably but Guinan.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's why we needed, if Lily wasn't on First Contact, that's why we would need Guinan.
It would have been Guinan's job to.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
That was one of our what ifs that you didn't listen to, Joe. What if Lily wasn't there to talk Picard out of going all Captain Ahab on the Borg?
It's interesting they're both played by strong black women.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just a coincidence?
I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
I think so. Best person for the job, yeah.
So I think my favourite relationship, I want to know more about the relationship between her and Q. Why does Q, who is like an omnipotent being, appear scared of Guinan? What is it about Guinan, or what is it about their relationship? Does she have some secret power? Are his powers not enough to overwhelm her or do anything to her? I don't know. I really want to know that. It's always stuck with me, and it'd be interesting to know more details. I'm sure it's been covered in a book, possibly.
Oh, I'm
Sure. Okay, that was just my little thought about favourite relationships. Let's move on. I think Amy may have something different in store for our favourite moments or quotes.
No, do yours. I just want to go last. Can we end with my favourite?
Okay, so Amy does have something quite special planned, but she would like to go last. So, Kevin, favourite quote, favourite moment? I
think I mentioned it already, but and it's not even played by Whoopi Goldberg, but by the young actress who plays young Guinan in Rascals. Mm-hmm. She just has the same kind of gravitas that Whoopi Goldberg has for an actor that was 10 and 11 years old. But Guinan allowing Ro to be a child again, I think that, and to elicit that much joy from a person who is not a joyful person, who has a lot of anger and resentment in her, I think that's probably one of my favorite Guinan moments is Rascals. Just the ability that Guinan has to let people feel things, it really comes through in that episode, that allows her to be young again as well. I thought that was a lovely moment.
That is a very good moment. I too enjoy that, and she again is able to listen and hear what Ro is saying, not only through her words, but through her actions. And saying, all right, let's be kids together. Let's do this. Yep.
That's interesting. And interesting that it wasn't Guinan. It wasn't Whoopi Goldberg. It was whoever played the child, Guinan, but kept the essence of the character.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think my favourite Guinan moment has to be in Time's Arrow, where she's not the Guinan we know because she doesn't. We're in her past. Is that right?
Yes.
And so she doesn't know any of the characters, but there's an affinity between her and Picard. She knows that it's like the same reason yesterday's Enterprise, she knew that Tasha Yar shouldn't have been there.
Well, when she comes across Data, and Data's like, oh, I know you. You served on board our ship. And she's like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. But because of her wisdom, she's like, yeah, there's something there.
She doesn't know anybody else. She'd be like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? What's a ship? Because this is way back in the 1800s. So yeah, there's something maybe she doesn't consciously have access to it, but she knows something without being able to put a pin in it. Interesting. I think that's my favourite moment. Okay, Amy, what have you got for us?
All right. So my favorite moment is when Wesley in the Dolphin is asking everyone for dating advice and asks Riker, which I think is the best choice to ask for dating advice. And Riker's like, hey, Guinan, I need to borrow you for a second. And so the scene goes like this.
What should I say? How do I act? What do I do?
Guinan, I need your help. Could you step over here a minute?
Sounds simple enough.
Now, the first words out of your mouth are the most important. You may want to start with something like this. You are the most beautiful woman in the galaxy. But that might not work.
Yes, it would.
You don't know how long I've longed to tell you that.
But you were afraid?
Yes.
Of me?
Of us, of what we might become.
Commander?
Or that you might think that it was a line.
Maybe I do think it's a line.
Then you think I'm not sincere?
I didn't say that. There's nothing wrong with a line. It's like a knock at the door.
Then you're inviting me in.
I'm not sending you away.
That's more than I expected.
Is it as much as you hoped?
To hope is to recognize the possibility. I had only dreams.
Dreams can be dangerous.
Not these dreams. I dream of a galaxy where your eyes are stars and the universe worships the night.
Careful. Putting me on a pedestal so high, you may not be able to reach me.
Then I'll learn how to fly. You are the heart in my day and the soul in my night.
I don't think this is my style.
Shut up, kid. Tell me more about my eyes.
Get a room, guys. I feel really uncomfortable.
I love that scene.
It's the funniest scene in the whole series, I think. It is my number one comedy moment on the show.
That is my favorite Guinan scene right there. So thank you guys for playing along with me.
I think I should win some kind of Oscar or Golden Globe or something like that.
I couldn't tell that it wasn't Will Wheaton in the room.
You guys, as my supporting cast, I would like to thank also. Couldn't have done it without you. Guys, do you have any final thoughts on the beautiful character of Guinan?
Yeah, this has been very interesting. I've learned a lot, and I've learned really how important her supporting character is and the impact that she has had. Those critical times. Another one of my favorites, which I'm sorry didn't get mentioned, was in Measure of a Man, where she's talking to Picard, and it's like, oh, we can have a whole bunch of disposable people. Like that thought and her wisdom and her experience of knowing people so well is able to give this amazing advice to help everyone where they are. I think she is very impactful, very important. She has, like you said, Kevin, these one-on-one relationships with every person in the crew. Mm-hmm. And we get to see these little bits. Even though she's not on a lot of episodes, she definitely is considered, in my opinion, one of the crew of TNG.
Good point. Kevin?
I think she just brings this calming yet light-hearted energy to the show. I think that that she very quickly became very integral to that show, and I can't imagine what TNG would be like if she hadn't joined the cast in season 2.
Yeah, it could have been a very different show. They're both, I think, Picard and Guinan are both very similar to each other, but in the same vein, very different from each other. Picard's got this serious gravitas about him, and Guinan's, she's very deep with a similar seriousness, but less serious, but also very serious, and not serious at all.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind
She's
of
both
rambling,
simultaneously.
but yes, which makes her very enigmatic, and you can't quite put your finger on what she is or what her character's about. She is a puzzle yet to be solved, and it would be really interesting to see what she does in season 2 Picard, because obviously John Delancey's coming back as Q, Whoopi Goldberg's coming back as Guinan, so are we going to find out more about that relationship? Are we going to... Oh, I don't know. It's exciting. Interesting. Well, that was a fun discussion on Guinan, and I learned lots of new things that I didn't already know, so thank you guys for that. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's show and hope you'll join the Facebook group Federation Council Chambers. You are welcome to start conversations with us or add any general Star Trek info you want to share with the group.
Incoming transmission.
If you'd like to send us an email, you can email us directly at galaxyclass@ufp.earth, and we will read your email on the show. You can also follow us on Twitter at GalaxyClassPod.
Please hit the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a star rating and written review. That helps others to find the show. You can also follow the entire network's podcast with our master feed by searching United Federation of Podcasts. This way, you won't miss any of our fine shows like All Good Things, Franchise Fatigue, Always Hold On to Arrow, General Quarters, Mickey's Marvels, and Infinite Diversity. So, Kevin, where can people find you when you're not drinking prune juice, which is a warrior's drink?
I can be found on several other podcasts, including True North Nerds, where we talk about general nerdity, and Stage Whispers, the local theater podcast. You can also find me in the Federation Council Chambers and on Twitter at True North Nerds. So, Joe, where can people find you when you are faking tennis elbow?
Do you know, I'd really like to be able to play tennis, but I don't think I've never really tried, so I would like to try that.
You don't have the elbows for it?
I'd probably be really good at it, to be honest. So, and like win all the competitions in Wimbledon and things like that, and the US Open. So,
would it be singles or doubles? Would you have Ewan play with you?
Oh, no, because I'd be like the best, so nobody would be as good to double up with me, so yeah, it'd just be me. That's why I haven't done it, because obviously I want to see other people succeed.
Yeah, you're just giving them a chance.
I know, yeah, that's the reason.
You're such a giving, caring person.
Totally. And when I'm not doing that, you can find me on the Federation Council Chambers. You can tweet me on the Twitter at joeyjoe77uk. You can email me, joepodcasts@gmail.com. And Amy, where can people find you when you're not getting drunk in 10 forward and annoying the earlobes of Guinan?
Well, when I'm not doing that, you can find me here on the network where I'm hosting All Good Things, which is about all of Star Trek. I am on Union Federation podcast, which is talking about the Orville and Star Trek, doing some great things over there. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Amy Nelson, and my favorite place right there at the Federation Council Chambers.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
If you'd like to help us keep all of our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/UFPearth to get all the details.
We would like to recognize our executive producers, Brandon Shea-Mutala, Ken Tripp, Zach Moore, and Tony Robinson. We would also like to thank Zach Tripp for our opening and closing music, and Tony Robinson for our amazing artwork.
Thank you for beaming aboard the Galaxy class, and until next time...
My name is Guinan, I tend bar, and I listen.
Tell me more about my eyes.
Well, consider that in the history of many worlds, there have always been disposable creatures. They do the dirty work. They do the work that no one else wants to do because it's too difficult or too hazardous. And that an army of datas, all disposable, you don't have to think about their welfare. You don't think about how they feel. Whole generations of disposable people.
Engage.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.